It's time for Saint Lucia Magazine, your monthly wrap-up. Hi, and welcome to Saint Lucia Magazine, your monthly recap. This is your exclusive and in-depth look back at all governmental and public sector occurrences from over the past month. In this edition, we take a look at the activities and celebrations held to commemorate Independence 44. For this and other public sector developments, stay with us for Saint Lucia Magazine. Activities for St. Lucia's 44th anniversary of independence saw participation from a wide cross-section of the country's population. From the National Baton Relay to the Independence Rally, people spared no effort in showing their patriotism. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, encouraged the citizenry to embrace the theme, Devant Ensemble, one people shaping our destiny.
My fellow St. Lucians, as we recall that momentous occasion 44 years ago, when our flag was raised to signal our independence and our right to chart our own destiny in international relations, the realities of the world outside should motivate to create our own path to development and to the kind of society we should be building for ourselves. Today, we are facing a world which is more challenging than the one into which we were thrust 44 years ago. Today, the ideological rivalries of the Cold War in 1970s have given way to a destructive war in Ukraine, whose collateral damage is food shortages and worldwide inflation, supply chain issues that have its negative global impact on and from which our small island has not been spared. The harshness of the world of external affairs, with constant war and conflict, should serve to impress upon us the necessity to be opposite here in our own country. We must resolve our conflicts with dialogue and peaceful exchanges, not through the barrel of illegal guns or hateful speech, untruths, and character assassination on social media. If you can see yourself in your neighbor, you will not hurt him, much less kill him. If you can see your neighbor as your brother and your sister, then you will love him, and you love your brother and your sister. Let us inculcate the values of love and respect for each other in our children, in our homes, in our families, in our schools and workplaces, so that we can construct a more harmonious and stronger society for all of us. As we celebrate our 44th independence, we must in a very special way ensure that our young people do not feel marginalized and unable to cope in an ever-changing world. In 2021, the Generation of Employment and Private Sector Development Program, an initiative aimed at enhancing youth employment by working in the private sector to pay attention to the labor market skills mismatch, provide opportunities for self-employment, and improve labor productivity, which will ultimately result in a reduction of employment of young people. The program is being funded by a €6 million grant from the European Union, implemented by the Ministry of Economic Development, working in partnership with the St. Lucia Council for TVET and training partners, NSDC, CARE, NELU, the Alpha Louis Community College, Monroe College, the School of Arts Design, St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association, Raise Your Voice, and a number of private sector organizations providing on-the-job training and mentorship. So far, the program has achieved the following: the issuance of more than 300 new certificates by the TVET Council in various areas related to TVET. The establishment of a physical workforce development center in Vieux-Fort to assist individuals with the process of TVET training to TVET practitioner. The management of a central TVET control registry to document the process of an individual journey from TVET training to TVET practitioner in St. Lucia. Most importantly, 700 young people have been able to participate in job attachment programs in various private sector institutions for a period of 3 months with a stipend provided by the Government of Saint Lucia. These young people have been exposed to formal employment and will be better equipped to join the workforce. I look forward to a continuation of the program in the future aimed at providing sustainable employment to our young people. Every day, I'm asked by anxious young people on the Youth Economy program promised last year as a means of creating sustainable employment for our youth by converting hobbies into entrepreneurship and skills into business by providing training, marketing, finance, and mentorship. I am aware that this program has taken some time to be rolled out. I am pleased to announce that the formal launch of the program will be held next month. This life-changing program has taken some time, not because of tardiness, but because of the careful planning needed in its execution. Young people can look forward to an exciting and innovative experience as government continues to put their well-being at the center of its developmental plans.
A major feature of the national rally was the celebration of creatives.
Oh, what a blessing. Sometimes I tell myself I live in heaven. You mean so much to me, oh my sweet Helen. So anyway, that's a good, I feel proud when I tell them I come from the blue, black, yellow and white. The land, the people, the light. I come from the blue, black, yellow and white. The land, the people, the light. 758, majestic, majestic 758. Authentic, authentic 758. Majestic, majestic Saint Lucia. Yeah.
Say, I am a Saint Lucian, yeah. Well, that's who I am. Take a bounce to me. That place so sweet, melodies in the heat. Everybody's on the road, we jumping for one goal. To any song I play, our culture on a display. Everybody say, we rhymes a special way. To see the people playing, everybody celebrating. The music sounds so sweet, it's only we who feel it. I'm proud of where I'm from, need you to understand. I am a Saint Lucian. Somebody wave those flags in the air. Go! Thank God that I am a Saint Lucian, and I come from the land of sun. Everybody thank God for the Helen of the West. Simply beautiful. Come on, show me your hands. Let me see your hands up. But I know that hands up. If you run away, you're from hands up. Cause all of we are one. Hands up. If you are a Saint Lucian, stand the party up in there. Lucian people, raise a flag up in the air. If you are a Saint Lucian,
Sons and daughters of Saint Lucia.
local businesses and manufacturers was celebrated as part of St. Lucia's 44th anniversary of independence. The Business Expo, spearheaded by Export Saint Lucia, provided the opportunity for 80 entities to showcase their products. Minister for Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives and Consumer Affairs, Honorable Emma Hippolyte, lauded the participants for their contribution to the country's business and manufacturing sectors.
As I sat and look around me, I noticed and I want to recognize the excellence of Baron Foods, Bryce and Company, Tenderoni, and that's just the end there. Give them a hand of applause, ladies and gentlemen, because they make us proud on the international market. Our country has a very rich history built on the toil of our forefathers, from political stalwarts like Sir George Charles and Sir John Compton, to the stalwarts who actually have businesses in this boulevard. And today I want to recognize Sir Quentin Charles, deceased, the Cox and Bowbray family, the Clark family, the Judah family. They built this boulevard, ladies and gentlemen, and it is fitting that you are having this business expo here today. I also want to recognize our farmers that flank our east and west coast. In particular, I want to hail my Foshajak Dashin farmers this morning. And our banana farmers, our honey producers. I want to recognize our agro-processors, Viking traders, Abby's, Mrs. St. Rose Delight, just to name a few of the persons who toil and serve us. That's right, the Dibolays, thank you, my brother. Our St. Lucians at home and abroad in the diaspora, those who are known here to us and those who are known worldwide. We have much to celebrate in our young 44 years. We've had our dark days, from hurricanes and economic crises over which we have no control, to the choices that we make every day as a people. We always seem to bounce back, which speaks of the resilience of St. Lucia and her people. The level of economic activities has grown as we have witnessed increases in the number of agro-processors. Our farmers have been diversified in the field, and exports of goods of over 133 million is the average over the last 2 years. This is evident that growth can be seen as we go through the booths and businesses represented at this Independence Expo today. A thrust to increase value-added products is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to remind our very small producers and processors of our micro, small, medium enterprise loan grant facility at the Ministry of Commerce. I'm telling you, the door is still open. Do not let that train pass you by. We have looked at our packaging and our labeling standards. We have testing facilities, and very importantly, the capacity building of our people. It is vital that our independence extends not just through our sovereignty, but through our business community, our commerce, and our youth. And the young people, please remember the youth economy. The door is open for you.
This is St. Lucia Magazine. Stay with us. When we return, we take a look at public sector developments.
Are you tired of eating unhealthy and overprocessed foods? Or the hassle to procure fresh fruits and vegetables? We at the St. Lucia Marketing Board want to ensure you receive the best fresh produce St. Lucia has to offer with the newly introduced Fruit and Vegetable Box. We put together a great seasonal selection of locally produced fruits and vegetables that can be delivered directly to you. The box prices range from $65 to $140. If you would like to customize your box or add additional products, you may contact us at 452-3214 or 453-1162.
Welcome to Recap. Recap is your look back at governmental and public sector developments. Five retired educators have been honored for their service and contribution to St. Lucia's education sector.
The 5 educators honored for their long and exemplary service to the island's education system included Althea Ernest, Simonia Jabatiste, and Sabina Ale, who retired as principals, as well as Martha Foster Donnellian and Gabriel John St. Paul, who were once principals but retired as district education officers. Fellow educators, government officials, and other invited guests joined in the celebration in thanking and recognizing the 5 women for their contribution to the classroom and to education in general at various levels. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Senator Honorable Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, expressed the ministry's gratitude for the service rendered by the retirees and the impact their contribution has had on the education sector. Dr. Prosper, who is a retired principal and district education officer, encouraged retirees to allow the amazing memories garnered through the years to surpass the pitfalls and difficulties experienced along the way.
You have indeed positively impacted the lives of thousands of our youth, notwithstanding the myriad of challenges along the way. Tonight, we celebrate your achievements and express our profound appreciation for your long, dedicated service, your commitment, and your great strength and courage during those years in the education system.
The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports unveiled the Skill758 app. The app is intended to connect skilled youth with their users looking for their services.
This is one of the initiatives designed to address the persistent issue of youth unemployment, and it's called Skill758. This is a web-based mobile application which will connect employers with job seekers in St. Lucia. Several areas of employment are available to qualified applicants.
What the app is going to do is pretty much allow young people who have skills in, let's just say, tiling, painting, plumbing, persons who want to be waitress and all those sort of things to, have a one-stop shop. Their information could be uploaded, their CVs to a platform, and of course it will ensure that the business sector could just use their phone, tap into all the individuals based on the resume that they would be willing to invite to an interview, and so they would never have a situation where they are not able to get persons employment opportunities.
Potential employees can benefit from the app by getting notifications on job postings in their area, offer their services for part-time gigs, and make it easier for companies to find them. Skill758 can be accessed by logging on to www.skill758.govt.lc, or it could be downloaded from both the Apple and the Android app stores.
The Ministry of Agriculture is encouraging the consumption of local produce with the opening of a new shopping outlet under the management of the St. Lucia Marketing Board.
With rising inflation and production costs globally, it is more important than ever to reduce St. Lucia's food import bill and increase the consumption of local products. The Agriculture Ministry's most recent efforts include a newly opened retail outlet at the Castries Market, overseen by the St. Lucia Marketing Board, and aims to make quality food available to the public at affordable prices. General Manager of the St. Lucia Marketing Board, Vincent Lacorbinier, expressed gratitude to the parliamentary representative for Castries Central and the Government of Taiwan for their assistance in increasing the Marketing Board's capacity as they continue their drive toward food and nutrition security. From fresh fruits and vegetables to agro-processed goods, Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Alfred Prosper, says this initiative is strategically placed to ensure that both consumers and local producers benefit from both the domestic and international agriculture industry.
We know on a regular basis that we have guts in cucumbers, tomatoes, and so on, and our farmers stand to lose an income that they have worked very hard for. So we are asking our farmers to produce, but when that time comes for them to sell the produce, it is always a problem. I've heard calls by a number of persons asking why is it our tourism industry is importing so much food that can be grown right there in St. Lucia. It is time for us to take stock of what is happening and see how we can really focus on our farmers producing the commodities that we utilize in the hotels in St. Lucia. So there will be a drastic reduction in our food import bill and our farmers will stand to benefit.
The PI Secondary School has taken steps towards increasing parent involvement in the education sector with the election of their very first Parent-Teacher Association.
The PI Secondary School has elected its first ever Parent-Teacher Community Association executive. This was in fulfillment of a mandate from EQUIP, the Education Quality Improvement Project funded by the Caribbean Development Bank.
This event is geared at bonding with our parents and having good communication with our parents as well as our community members.
Research has shown that when schools and communities work together, it redounds to student success in every way.
That's how parents and the community can lobby support for the schools, for their existence, and for the plans that they have for the future and for the kids.
One objective is to get the community involved in the life of the students who will eventually form the workforce and become local leaders.
The school is going through a transformation where we want to bring more TVET subjects into the school, and I'd like to see the school and the community work together to decide which of these skilled programs they would like to see implemented in the school.
The election of the new executive took place at a meet and greet special event organized by the PI Secondary School. Nominations were invited and elections held, and in the end, Lisa Jean-Baptiste was elected the first president of the PI Secondary School Parent-Teachers Community Association.
Prime Minister of Saint Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, is advocating for increased disaster preparedness among Caribbean islands.
Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, also leads the region's quasi-cabinet on sustainable development and climate change. During the regional launch of the United Nations Early Warning for All initiative on February 6, Prime Minister Pierre advanced his advocacy for the implementation and integration of early warning systems into the national disaster preparedness plans of Caribbean nations.
It is also known that in 2017, the 2017 hurricane season was the costliest on record with close to US $300 billion in damages. And so, disaster risk reduction, mitigation, building resilience, and recovery have become top priority action areas for the survival of the Caribbean states. Target G of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction is to, and I quote, substantially increase the availability of and access to multi-hazard warning systems and disaster information and assessments to people by 2040. Note the emphasis on the word people. This is critical in the management of complex hazards, which are experienced by our Caribbean states and compounded by the negative impact of climate change. The UN General Secretary Early Warnings for All initiative will focus on multi-hazards. This multi-hazard early warning system correctly places emphasis on the safety of people. Early warning systems do not only save lives, but also provide vast economic benefits.
Guided by the empirical data, the Prime Minister urged regional governments to employ early warning systems as its effective usage can save lives, minimize loss and damage of property and infrastructure, and improve resilience to natural hazards.
We are told by the WMO that just 24 hours notice of an impending hazardous event can cut the ensuing damage %. It is instructed global on losses of between 3 to 16 billion per annum. With hazards ranging from hurricanes earthquakes, flooding, volcanic eruptions, health pandemics, and those related to pests and diseases on crops and livestock, there is no doubt that a multi-hazard approach is necessary, involving coordination across numerous national ministries and agencies, and also regional agencies, all effectively operating early warning systems to adjust the onslaught of hazards to which the Caribbean region is exposed. The Caribbean region must continue to implement measures to change our fortunes to become more resilient to natural disasters.
The Regional Comprehensive Disaster Management Strategy is the Caribbean vehicle for the implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. From the Office of the Prime Minister, Rihani Isidore.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council is making strides in the implementation of the Security Interest in Movable Property Bill.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, NCPC, moved another step closer to full implementation of the Security Interest in Movable Properties Bill, which was passed in Parliament in 2022. Director of the NCPC, Lisa Flora Montoute, said the contract for the development of the Collateral Registry has been awarded to iOS partners, and a kickstart meeting was held in early February to discuss contract management, among other matters.
We had a team of stakeholders visit Saint Lucia in order to ensure the launch of the Collateral Registry. And so the NCPC has been the main collaborator in ensuring this implementation takes place sometime in September of this year.
Founder and Senior Managing Director of iOS Partners, Robert Hans, said iOS has operated for the past 24 years providing consultancy and advisory support with a focus on international economic development. His team brings together expertise in information technology solutions for development, e-government, and digital transformation.
We've been involved with a total of 9 countries developing collateral registries or secure transaction registries. We have a number of our systems operational around the world, and this is in fact well around the world. Countries such as Laos, Brunei, Qatar, others in the Caribbean.
Funding for the development of the Collateral Registry came from the World Bank under the Financing for Tourism Competitiveness Improvement Project within the Ministry of Tourism.
The Government of Saint Lucia through the Ministry of Health is prioritizing the health of citizens. The entity launched Saint Lucia Moves, which is aimed at reducing the effect of non-communicable diseases on the population.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs is taking an active approach to tackling non-communicable diseases. This is being achieved through the Saint Lucia Moves campaign. The ministry recently re-established the initiative. Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Honorable Moses Jabatist, provided an overview of Saint Lucia Moves.
Saint Lucia Moves is a local chapter of the wider Caribbean Moves initiative, and it forms part of the ministry's national wellness drive aimed at increasing awareness of non-communicable diseases, the promotion of wellness, and the promotion of age-appropriate physical activity. We want to encourage everyone, children, the elderly, young at heart, young, physically young, and so on. We want to encourage everyone to get moving. While one of the main components of the initiative is that of the promotion of physical activity, Saint Lucia Moves will offer a holistic approach to health and wellness promotion, also to positive health habits. And this initiative will include various components, and it is envisioned to be an initiative which can be embraced by the public and private sectors.
The Monsignor Patrick Anthony Folk Research Center has launched a project Bridging Heritage and Livelihoods. The project is intended to commemorate the cultural contributions of Dame Marie Cécenne Descartes as well as other cultural icons. This will encompass the conversion of the home of Cécenne Descartes into a museum.
The Place Cécenne Museum project concept was conceptualized many years ago by our founder, Monsignor Patrick Anthony, and I also want to make special extensions of gratitude to our former ED who is present with us today, Mrs. Louise Victor and Ms. Melissa Urban, who helped in pushing forward this project, which truly seeks to not only highlight the importance of cultural heritage and resources within our communities in St. Lucia, but also to recognize that culture also has a critical role in sustainable and economic development. And the commencement of this Bridging Heritage and Livelihoods project, the Plasticine Museum Development Project, really is part and parcel of bringing into fruition a long-term objective of allowing us to highlight the rich history of Monrepo, of our Queen of Culture, Dame Marie Cecilina Cesen-Descartes, who has contributed tremendously through her music, through her advocacy of the Creole language, and her own role in the development of the community of Monrepo in shaping our own consciousness and identity as a people. And the project, which brings in a considerable amount of money through the UNESCO office in the sum of US $19,000, will be a commencement in bringing that project into fruition and also highlighting the role of culture and national development for Saint Lucia.
That concludes Recap. Be sure to stay with us. It's now time for Did You Know, where we inform you of policy incentives that work for you.
Have you heard about the MSME Loan Grant Facility? This is opened to people 31 to 60 years. Individuals looking to start a business can receive a maximum of $10,000. Businesses in existence for 2 or more years can receive a maximum of $20,000. Businesses in existence for over 2 years can receive a maximum of $25,000. The enterprise must be owned or majority controlled by Saint Lucia nationals. Priority sectors include manufacturing, agriculture, agritourism, and services including ICT, beauty and wellness, creative industries, and professional services. Non-profit businesses do not apply. For more information on the MSME Loan Grant Facility, please contact the Ministry of Commerce.
We've come to the end of this edition of Saint Lucia Magazine. A big thank you to all who contributed to the production of this program: the National Television Network, the GIS team, and communication officers in the various ministries. And thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us next month for another episode of Saint Lucia Magazine on the National Television Network, Channel 122, and the social media pages of the Government of Saint Lucia. Until next time, I'm Humadi Mark.